know you're all just as excited as I am, so let's give this everything we got, and may the Force be with you. How was that?
Perfect.
After 3 years, 1 month, and 8 days, the Orville is finally back, and oh boy was it worth the wait.
Well, you're gonna find out for yourself.
At a very TV 48 minutes during Season 2, the Orville New Horizons is rocking more than an hour-long mini-movies for their 3rd season. After such a long wait in between seasons and rumors that the show was ending, a lot of people thought Season 3 would come and the Orville would fade into science fiction history. But after getting an early peek into what the Orville production team has in store for us, nothing could be further from the truth. The Orville isn't a tired old train struggling to get up its final hill. It's a roaring, full-speed-ahead locomotive screaming down the tracks, crushing current Star Trek and Star Wars as the hollow shells of science fiction they've become. So if you think this is the end of the Orville, don't count your science fiction chickens before they hatch. The Orville is back, bigger and better than ever before, and we are going to show you why we think this is only the beginning. So you don't want to miss this episode. Also, make sure you stay tuned until later in the show, where we are excited to show you why NordPass is going to change the way you manage your online passwords. And if you haven't already subscribed to our channel, please do so now. And give us a thumbs up if you want more inside knowledge about your favorite shows. And make sure you stay tuned to the end to see how to get this awesome U.S.S. Orville-inspired graphic design from the amazing artists at mixtees.com. If you're watching this and you haven't seen Electric Sheep, the first episode of the Orville New Horizons, be aware that spoilers are ahead. Go ahead and pause it here. We'll wait.
Your head is very smooth and very sensuous.
For stateside viewers, it's available on Hulu, and for everyone in Canada, the UK, and other places overseas, it will be available on Disney+. And as a sci-fi fan, if you are on the fence on whether to pay for another streaming service, this is what we'll say. Cancel everything else if you have to, because Episode 1 is just the tip of the iceberg. We've seen what else is coming, and we're not blowing smoke up your butts. We've covered almost every science fiction show out in the last few years, and none of them come even close to what we're about to see in Season 3 of the Orville. I know what some people are saying. If this season is so good, why did it take so long to make, and why does it seem to be on its final season? It did take a long time to make, and while it was awful to have to wait, you are going to be so glad they took their time. When we say this is like 10 mini-movies, we aren't joking. Each one of these episodes feels like a movie. There is a huge score, incredible special effects and imagery, bigger and newer sets, more action, and it's just better in every way. And why does it seem like this is going to be the final season of the Orville? Yes, at this time there is no Season 4 planned, but hold on to that thought. And before we show you the path to the Orville renewal, let's first show you why Electric Sheep was the perfect episode to launch Season 3. The first episode of New Horizons is a grand, sweeping display of a larger and more impressive Orville universe, complete with a new bridge, enormous engine room, and gorgeous new toys for Gordon to play with. But this first episode did something more than reintroduce us to the world we've missed. It dealt directly with important issues that were left vague and unanswered during Season 2. Following Identity Part 2 and the epic space battle between the Kaylon and the Union, Isaac's role in deceiving Ed and the crew, which led to untold deaths and nearly the destruction of humanity, was left untold. When Ed argued to have Isaac reinstated, there must have been others who didn't agree, including members of the Orville crew. Following the Kaylon battle, Season 2 would still have another 5 episodes, and we weren't going to address Isaac? Enter Ensign Charlie Burke for Season 3. But before we show you why Charlie is critical to New Horizons, let me quickly tell you why you are going to love this video's sponsor, NordPass. In today's online world, cyber threats are a bigger problem than ever. Hackers are constantly testing passwords for easy access into your accounts to steal your money and your identity. And this is why you need NordPass. NordPass is the essential cybersecurity tool that is more than a password manager. No need to memorize all your passwords. You can access all your logins with a single master password. NordPass is brought to you by the experts who built NordVPN, the advanced online security and privacy app trusted by more than 14 million users worldwide. NordPass is a zero-knowledge password manager, which means no one else but you can see what's in your encrypted vault, not even the NordPass team. Share your Netflix password with family and friends securely. Find out if your online account or credit card information has been leaked. Identify where and when the leak happened and what type of data was compromised. NordPass also syncs your credentials across 6 of your devices. Get an exclusive NordPass deal plus 1 additional month free by going to nordpass.com/popcast and use the code POPCAST at checkout. Let NordPass help make things a little easier and a lot more secure. Try NordPass today. With Ensign Burke, played by the lovely Ann Winters, we learned that the fair-haired ensign now at the helm next to Gordon has an Isaac problem. Burke's best friend on her previous ship, the U.S.S. Quimby, was killed during the Kaylon attack, and she's holding a grudge. But it's not just her. It seems most of the crew has a problem with Isaac and won't even sit with him in the mess hall.
May I join you?
Sure.
Even Marcus is now afraid and angry with Isaac. The episode leads with an epic, amazing reoccurring nightmare that Marcus is having.
Isaac?
It's also important to note here that BJ Tanner, who plays Marcus, has completely come into his own, and during this first episode has made the leap from Dr. Claire's kid to a future top-billed co-star. Tanner shows years of growth in Marcus, and we are blessed with an emotional and powerful performance from him. Marcus tells Isaac he hates him and wishes he were dead, and Isaac then terminates himself. The underlying theme of this episode is suicide and whether someone has the right to take their own life or not. John Lamar has a philosophical debate with a new spiky alien bedmate who explains that where she's from, people were never given the choice to be born, so they are allowed to take their own lives if they so choose.
No one makes the choice to exist. And some feel that they were grabbed out of the void and thrust into existence against their will.
John vehemently disagrees, but something she says gives him an idea about how he might revive Isaac. This was another important moment for the 3rd season, and we are so glad they addressed it early. Lamar, played wonderfully by Jay Lee, rose to become the chief engineer of the Orville because of his genius-level aptitude. But to be fair, we hadn't really seen his genius-level intellect at work unless it was interwoven to some sort of punchlines. In this first episode, we see the genius that is John Lamar, and we see exactly why he's in charge of keeping the ship operating.
Well, way back in the days of the early computers, the programmers would sometimes bury a code deep inside the system.
Both the Isaac and John Lamar holes are filled quickly in the first episode of Season 3. It's as if Seth and his team said, where are we weakest going into New Horizons, and how do we fix them and pave the way for the rest of the season? Charlie Burke's new character on the ship is exactly what the crew needed. It was important that an outsider become Isaac's counterbalance and moral dilemma, as most of the main players didn't seem to have a big issue with Isaac maintaining his position on the ship. Burke would disobey direct orders from Captain Mercer and be relieved of duty before being approached by a guilt-ridden Marcus, who feels like Isaac's death is his fault. Burke ends up assisting Lamar in reviving Isaac to the delight of his friends, but she makes a point to tell him, I didn't do it for you.
Actually, Charlie did. Please explain.
It's obvious that this conflict and tension between the two characters will continue. Will Burke come to terms with her hate for Isaac, or will she find out he's still a ticking Kaylon time bomb? This story will be very interesting to watch. We also have the added conflict with Claire trying to determine whether she is still in love with Isaac.
Has our session concluded?
I guess it has.
The first episode ended very strong, and the fact that we didn't want it to end is a good sign. As we've seen the future already, all we can say is, we don't think you'll be disappointed. And this leads us to one of the most important questions. In a landscape of fairly disappointing science fiction today, what needs to happen to keep a great show on the air? Everything we can determine from the Orville team is that although there currently isn't a renewal, that doesn't mean that it's not going to happen. Seth wants to keep doing it, and we know the actors and the crew want to keep making the show. So what's holding it back? Well, frankly speaking, it's us. Hulu and to some degree Disney needs to see that this show is going to be profitable. So as fun as watch parties are, it's better for the future of the Orville if everyone watches it from their own streaming subscription. And if you love the Orville and want more of it, tell a friend. It's amazing how many people we speak to every day who have never even heard of the Orville. Then they watch it and they're hooked. Unfortunately, Hulu isn't the go-to streaming service that Netflix, Paramount Plus, HBO, and Disney Plus have become.
I have to tell you about the future!
Not as many people are going to accidentally run into this show, so we need to let as many people know as possible. And make sure you don't forget to sign the renewal petition at renewtheorville.org. We need a lot more signatures there, and we can promise you Seth and Hulu executives are going to raise their eyebrows in interest if we can get enough signatures. Surely if Amber Heard can get 4 million signatures to have her removed from Aquaman.
I've got one very important thing, mate. I'm Captain Jack Sparrow.
We can get the same number of signatures so that we have more seasons of the best science fiction show available today. But it's up to us to spread the word. What do you think? Was the first episode of the Orville Season 3 worth the wait? Do you like the new member of the cast, Ann Winters? What do you think of BJ Tanner's performance? Are you going to sign the petition for more Orville? Let's talk about it in the comments below. Also, check out this incredible U.S.S. Orville-inspired graphic design from the amazing artists at mixtees.com. Get 20% off your purchase by using coupon code ThePopcast. The link is in the description below.
See you there.
Is that an order, sir?
It is.
I enjoy this job, sir.